No need to sugarcoat this one. The Avs were horrible in this game. Avs lose to the New York Islanders 6-3. What was worse, my hair or the Avs in that game? I think it's unfortunately closer than people want it to be. There were very few stretches of this game where the Avs were honestly competitive. I don't even think we have to get into a ton of detail here because every facet, every step, every little thing was bad. There was literally no good in this game. That's not totally true, but on the whole, the Avs play was bad top to bottom. Every player, every portion, every shift. I will add some more specificity here and there, but there is very, very little redeeming out of this game. Statistically, the first period was at least competitive, but that was just a lie, in my opinion. Use your eye test. You need to have a reality check. I'm the biggest believer in analytics there is. But when your eye test doesn't line up, you got to take a look at it. And let's be honest, the Avs were not that good in the first period. Yes, they had a ton of shots on goal. Yes, they claim there's a bunch of high danger chances. And maybe that's true that there were a lot of shots coming from in and around the dangerous areas, but almost all of those shots were just the Avs slapping a puck into Sorokin's pads. And maybe against a weaker goalie, one or two of those goes in, but Sorokin is too good to get one of those cheapies to go. And that ends up in a different game that we don't experience here. Those pucks don't go in for the Avs in the first period, and for all of the other details of the game, it was a team that was for the most part just going through the motions of a hockey game, not actually going out there working and earning their opportunities. On the other side, the Islanders were outworking the Avs for pretty much the entire game, and they get rewarded for that twice in the first period. The first one is controversial, though. No need to pretend this is anything but a ridiculous net front scrum. The Islanders get a puck to the net, and it's just chaos in front. You're going to see 3 Islanders in and around the area and 3 Avs in and around the area. Blackwood can't freeze this puck, so the Islanders are stabbing, jabbing, and pushing at it. It causes chaos. It pushes Blackwood backwards towards the net, but the initial goal doesn't go in. The puck stays out and kicks outside here. The problem is, you see, Blackwood is just completely down on the ice, has no hope as the turnaround shot comes in, and you can't really see it here, but I do assure you there is an Islanders stick just sitting in Blackwood's pad right there as this goal gets scored. Look, I get how this is not goalie interference. There's a loose puck that the Islanders are trying to play at there. And is there a little bit of craftiness? Maybe you shove Blackwood a little bit harder with that loose puck there. Yeah, I think there is definitely some of that, but that's a gray area in the NHL. Is it a bad look that there's a stick sticking out of Blackwood's pad too? Yes, definitely. There's a very real argument that that is goalie interference. In my opinion, though, from the initial play, if the shoving of Blackwood isn't goalie interference, the stick being in his pads doesn't really matter, because at that point, Blackwood is never recovering to make the save on the actual shot that goes in the net. With that being said, I'm just an idiot sometimes, and Jared Bednar certainly thought it was a joke that is not goalie interference. I don't really care which side you come down on this one being goalie interference or not, because we all know the real problem here is that no one actually knows what goalie interference in the NHL is anymore. Fix the rule, please. Doesn't go the Avs' way. It's 1-0 to start this game for New York. Look, the Avs actually held on pretty decently through the rest of the first, even if I do think the statistics are a little bit inflated for them. Blackwood was doing a good job for a while to keep this game close, but eventually the lack of details caused the Avs defense to just collapse in on itself. Just chaotic sloppiness from the Avs all over the place here. A pinch from Malinsky doesn't go well, and he loses his stick on the play, so he has to collect a stick on his way back. And the initial recovery defense here, actually not that bad. You get 3-on-3 coverage that doesn't lead to any initial danger here. The problem starts when the Avs try to get set up, I can speak, into their full defensive zone coverage. This is not that complicated. You have pretty easy marks set up here, man to man. I know you play a lot of zone in the NHL, but sometimes you just got to take your guy. And Ross Colton does some weird stuff here. He decides to step in front of the man sliding behind to go out to the point and try and defend that. Both Nelson and Landy kind of take the puck carrier here, and Nelson doesn't recognize on his backside that Colton is going to step up and take the high guy, so Nelson needs to slide across and make sure this lane to the middle is covered. And at the same time, Sam Girard is trying to step in front of his guy and go with a guy in front of the net, which isn't bad defense. This is fine marking from your defenders. There's just no communication in this triangle of doom here where all of them end up forgetting about the backside of the play. So with no one in the passing lane and no defenseman to step up into the shooting lane, you have a completely uncovered guy at the hash marks, and that's just brutal. Pretty impressively bad defensive coverage for a 5-on-5 situation. And that was the game where you probably knew what was happening here. Maybe you should have known off the bad vibes with the first goal, but that one made it clear that the Avs were not only not having their best game, but were actually struggling. Given the season that the Avs had, you still had hope that they could come out in the second period, play their best hockey, respond, and get themselves back into it. But for the first time this season, we didn't see that. We saw the Avs more or less give up. Effort levels were absolutely in the bin to start the second period, and the Avs were just straight up not competitive. And they've had bad stretches of games before, maybe even a full bad period of a game before this season. This entire game, the Avs just weren't competitive, or at least the vast majority of it, they were not. And that sucks. If you can't tell, I'm obviously not concerned about this big picture, but there's just not a whole lot from this game that is good. The Avs were begging the Islanders to make them go away, so the Islanders did. Another play that's just all bad from the Avs. The initial breakout here is whatever, really not that dangerous. Maybe not the greatest back check in the world from McKinnon, but it's okay. Except for both of your defenders took the puck carrier, and no one covered the opposite side of the ice. And then when the puck goes over there, cover him? Josh Manson just leaves a massive gap for absolutely no reason, all the way down to the top of the circles. So this is a bad high danger chance anyway. The initial save gets made, but the rebound comes out, and your defensemen, who have just been floating towards the top of the crease, now fail to get a stick on a puck and clear a dangerous puck. The puck continues to bounce around in their skates. Manson can't find it. It comes out. This one is going to go right back to Brent Burns, and he's going to twirl around like a figure skater, not able to find it, while Josh Manson is getting beat again on the backside of this play, and your forwards are literally AFK doing nothing. Where is any quality hockey there? Show me it. I mean, win a puck battle, or at least do anything effective on the defensive side. One of my real concerns from this game, other than everyone was just bad, was the Manson-Burns pairing. When you get the bad game from both of those guys at the same time, there's just no stemming the bleeding. They're going to get cooked all over the ice, and that's what happened, not only on that goal, but you'll see more bad later. But as I mentioned, everyone was bad in this game, including Mackenzie Blackwood. You're down 3-0 and your effort levels have been in the bin for this game. So why are the Avs trying to perform a ridiculously cute breakout? I actually think this is fine from Girard on the initial part. He gets it up the wall to his teammate. You have room. You can make a simple pass. You can skate it out yourself. Instead, you try this cute little backhand flip leave that leaves a player into not quite a hospital pass, but he's going to be on the tracks here if he just skates forward with this. So he tries to chip it forward and chips it right into him. And all of a sudden, you're in trouble, and you know it. The Avs defensively start to panic here, and then Mackenzie Blackwood just gives up an absolutely terrible goal. Yeah, that goal just can't go in. All of these bad plays are inflection points, right? You pick one of them, take them out of this game. 3-0 is still bad, but it's a universe where you can start to see a comeback from the Avs. They are absolutely capable of scoring like that. They've come back from a deficit like that already this season. But when it's death by 1,000 cuts and every single issue the Avs have stack up, it just makes a comeback impossible, and that's what this game was. Funnily enough, the Avs do score twice immediately after that fourth goal over the course of about a minute and a half. And I'll show you those now, but let's be honest here, those two goals were not leading to anything. The Avs have possession in the offensive zone here. They're getting pucks deep. It gets chipped back up the wall. And right here might be the only puck battle along the boards the Avs won in the entire night. Nichushkin goes in, puts a hit on him, takes the puck away, and keeps the Avs in possession to create this opportunity. It comes out high. Malinsky throws a puck to the net. After winning the puck battle, Nichushkin goes right to the dangerous area. Just quality stuff. He gets his stick on this one. It also goes off of Pelech, but he gets rewarded with a goal. some hard work, some simple hockey from Nichushkin there, and he gets rewarded with a tip-in play. That's really nice. That's what you want to see in a game where the Avs are struggling to even do the basics correctly. And then you follow that up with a good bounce. The Avs collect one in their own zone here. Burns gets it up to Olofsson quick, and Olofsson sends it through, and it finds its way to Necas, which, by the way, the lines were a mess all night because of how poorly the Avs were playing. Bednar was just throwing stuff out there. Necas uses his speed to get around the edge here nicely and has a clean break-in. And then he, in my opinion, makes the wrong decision. You're alone here. You're going to have a quality opportunity to shoot the puck. He holds on to it and tries to slide it back to Nathan MacKinnon. It's a bad pass. It shouldn't have worked, but it goes off the defender's skate and in, sometimes lucky. Okay, the Avs use their speed, get rewarded for it, even if it is a silly finish. It does go in the back of the net, and now you're left feeling two ways. One, if the Avs played even a little bit better and took away one of those goals against, they'd be right back into this game. But two, a 90-second stretch like that should give the Avs a ton of energy. They should be able to start playing well, get themselves back into the groove, and start going to try and create a comeback. And that didn't happen at all. That 90-second stretch was absolutely a fluke in this game, and the Avs went right back to going through the motions and not doing any of the small details correctly to try and win this game. Pretty disappointing. It's not often in the NHL you see a team that just doesn't want it. The Avs didn't want it. The dagger slides home late in the second period. After the zone entry, you see the Isles with the puck along the boards on the far wall. They flip it back up high to Barzal, and this initial move is really nice from Barzal. Jack Drury just gets cooked. Whatever. All right, Barzal's a good player. I get it. Sometimes you get beat. But then we have Brent Burns. I really have no idea what Brent Burns is doing here. This is a penalty kill, right? You know you're going to give up some things. You mostly just want to defend the middle area of the ice to not give up anything too dangerous. And Barzal does give him a little shimmy shake here or whatever, but Burns just wildly commits to the outside lane for no reason. This is not a difficult play at all for Barzal to go to his backhand and tuck to the middle here, and Burns is just wandering in no man's land. Then at this point it's too late, right? Someone's going to try to adjust and make a play, but you're not going to be able to do that. You're not expecting Burns to just give up the slot like that, and it's a nice backhand finish from Barzal. I mean, credit to Barzal for a nice move, I guess, but that is absolutely heinous defense from Brent Burns on that one. And the Avs were pretty much cooked from there. The third period, I will say, the first 2 to 3 minutes of the third period was probably the best stretch of hockey the Avs played in the entire game. They had energy, they had effort, they were making quality plays through that stretch, and they actually get rewarded for that stretch for a goal. The Islanders have a broken stick here, and it's maybe the first time in the game where there's chaos in their own zone. The Avs are pressuring, they're pushing, they're using their space. Look at Cale Makar get in deep here to create a good opportunity for himself. The initial shot doesn't go in, but then the Avs collect a rebound. They actually play some real quality hockey here to get another opportunity where the Isles are still struggling to figure out what's going on, and they give up this space again to Makar. This time, though, Makar sells shot and then puts a beautiful pass over to Leckie. Leckie is extremely deep here. You probably would like him to be a little bit less deep, but Makar sells the shot so well that he's got time and room to put that finish home. Obviously, context matters. New York was up 3 in a third period. They were absolutely sagging back to start the period. That is a context thing. Great that the Avs took advantage of that, though. You have a bright spot in this game that you can actually feel good about, even if it is quite small. And then the problem was, once again, you got outside of that very small stretch, and the Avs went right back to meh. And again, I'm not worried about this. This is the Avs' second regulation loss of the season. You're gonna play a bad game eventually. That's what this was. That's fine. The Avs will play better in their next game. I just about guarantee it, regardless of the outcome. This was truly bad hockey for large stretches. But what feels really bad from this game is the power play. And I know this isn't a new issue. It's something the Avs have been struggling with for the entire season. And if we're being fair, one of the Avs' 3 power plays was only 30 seconds long. So even if you say they really went 0 for 2 tonight, maybe it doesn't look that bad statistically, like much of this game doesn't look that bad statistically. But in practice, the Avs had a power play that just murdered any chance of them coming back in this game at all. You're down 2 with about half the period left in the third. You get a power play opportunity that has a chance to get you within 1 goal for the first time since you've fallen behind. And the power play isn't just bad, it doesn't do anything. Your first unit struggles to even get into the zone. A team that maybe doesn't have a ton of offensive talent, that isn't the best team in the NHL, having a struggling power play in the bottom 10 that maybe it pots a goal here, pots a goal there, yeah, that might be okay. For the Colorado Avalanche, it's completely unacceptable. We are living in an NHL where over the last few years, we've seen power play percentages balloon to wildly high success. There are multiple teams this far into the season still operating with an over 30% power play, and the Avs are operating with a 15% power play. It's an unmitigated disaster, and you pretty much have to throw the whole thing out and start over at this point. Yeah, the whole game was bad. If you want to lump it in with that, to some extent, fair enough. But we've seen the power play issues go on all season long, and we are now over a third of the way through the season. You have to figure it out eventually. That's the only real long-term issue I have here. The rest of this is just one bad game out of 27. There will likely be a few more bad games this season, but as long as the next one looks better, we're not going to think too much about this one. Was absolutely horrible in the moment, though. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and no, I'm not shaving the hair, even if it is the hair's fault.